Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. I hope you guys are all doing very well. It is currently Monday, and I'm about to go back into my big week of work this week, so a little bit nervous. So this week I have some really exciting reading plans. I'm shifting things up a little bit, which I'll get into. Otherwise, gonna be a busy week on the life end too. So without further ado, let's get into the TBR. So this week is all about rereads. If you guys watch my 2026 intentions video, one of the things I wanted to do this year was reread some of my favorite books and see, does my opinion still stand? Because many of these I haven't read for such a long time. And so this week is going to be my first episode of that, where I reread two books that I have read and really enjoyed before and see what I think of them. So, and the theme this week, on top of rereading, is that both of these books have movie, TV adaptations that just came out. And so I thought it would be fun to read the book and then focus on doing the movie or TV adaptations either in this vlog or in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, let's get into the TBR. So first up, we have Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. This has a TV adaptation that just came out. And I originally read this a long time ago. I will put up the date that I marked it as read on Goodreads, and it is one of my favorite books. I think if I made a top 20 list, it would definitely be in the top 20, top 10 maybe, but a book that I deeply, deeply love, but I've only read one time. It is about William Shakespeare's son. So he's known to have a son named Hamnet, and obviously very similar to the play Hamlet. Was it related? We know little bits about his life, but we don't know everything about his life. And so Maggie O'Farrell takes a little bit of liberty in figuring out, more about him. So yes, I remember loving the character work in this. I remember sobbing at the end of this. And yeah, I'm really excited to get into it. Also, the movie has one of my favorite actors, Paul Mescal, I think is his name. He played Connell in Normal People, in the miniseries Normal People. And first of all, I think he's very handsome. But second of all, I think he's a wonderful actor. So I'm really excited to see that. I'm blanking on who played the female in Hamnet. I will pop it up on the screen. But it did just win the Golden Globe for Best Movie of the Year. So people are really, really loving it. So this will be the first read. And then we have His and Hers by Alice Feeney. This has a TV adaptation that just came out on Netflix. I want to say this month. And Alice Feeney, of course, is one of my favorite thriller authors. I have read almost all of her work. There's one of her backlist that I haven't read that I hope to read this year. And this was one of my favorite of hers. And it just says, there are two sides to every story, yours and mine, ours and theirs, his and hers, which means someone is always lying. And I remember that this has to do with, yes, a BBC News anchor. And she's asked to report on a woman's murder in a country village. And then the detective chief inspector, Jack Harper, who is looking into the case, is very suspicious of Anna's involvement and why she's there. Yes, I remember really enjoying this. I don't remember the twist. So hopefully it will be like reading this for the first time. So anyways, these are the reading plans for the week. I think I gave both of these 5 stars. If I am wrong about that, I will put it on the screen at this time. But I think I did give both of them five stars the first time I read them. Otherwise, I go back to my week of being in the hospital, of working with the residents, which I look forward to. I'm a little nervous about it this week because I don't know what's going on with me, but the last week or so, I have been so exhausted. Like, I'm always tired. Like, my work is exhausting. I'm beyond 30 at this point, and so I feel like I noticed a big change in my energy when I went from like beginning of 20 to beginning of my 30s. But this week particularly, and like the last week or so, I've just been like dragging and so tired. So I went to the doctor's today. I am a doctor, so people might wonder why I go to the doctor, but I don't trust myself with to not be biased and to interpret my own health without bias, because how can you I don't know. I think it's just so hard to like treat yourself. So anyways, I got a slew of lab work done. Hopefully it will all be fine. And it is just that I need to sleep a bit more and that I am not 20 anymore, but we will see. But yes, I am a little bit nervous going into a full week of work when I already feel like I got hit by a train the day before. So we will see. We will see how this goes. Otherwise, I do have to take the Christmas decorations down today, which I am a little bit devastated about. It is the day I'm filming this. Obviously, this is going to go up way in the future. So you might be like, Sophia, why are you taking your Christmas decorations down in the beginning of February? The day I'm filming this, it is January 13th. So still a little bit late. My mom is British, and so she's always very much like it has to come down by 12th night, which it has not come down by 12th night because I think that was like the 6th of January. Having said that, we did travel a lot for Christmas, and I feel like we didn't really like get to enjoy and experience the tree, so I'm using that as my excuse, but it is time for stuff to come down. So I'm going to do that today. Orange Theory, get ready for work, do a bit of reading, kind of ease into what will hopefully be an okay work week this week. So with that, welcome to the vlog. So, tomorrow's the last day of the work week, and I could not be more thrilled because this week has been very rewarding, but it's also been very emotionally draining. It is not something that I talk about all the time with my job, but my job title is a med-peds hospitalist, and so I see patients in the hospital. Hello, Gilbert. All the way from being a newborn on their first day of life to being Gilbert. I'm having a serious discussion. Being over 100 years old. I think my oldest patient I've taken care of maybe was like 105. So I truly take care of people all throughout their life. And most days are good. Most days are good days, but then there are some really rough days where we have to share tough news. And I feel like for me, I don't know why this happens, but I feel like a lot of the hard cases always like bunch together. And this was one of those weeks. I've had to give a lot of really bad news and have a lot of really tough discussions. And it's obviously what I feel in that moment doesn't really matter. It's about the patient. But at the end of weeks like that, I always feel really, really drained, like emotionally and physically drained. I usually feel physically drained at the end of a week anyways, but emotionally drained. So it's been kind of a long week. I have had, within the like tough times, there also are wins that I've had this week for sure, which I really enjoy. But yeah, anyways, I think I talked about this in my last clip, but I personally went to the doctor a couple of days ago now and got some blood work, and it showed that I'm very vitamin deficient in a number of things, which I'm not super surprised about. I've had issues with that my whole life. And so I'm now taking a lot of multivitamins and different vitamins that are third-party verified. Anyways, that's a tangent, but vitamins are not approved by the FDA, and so they are not, the federal government does not ensure, like medications, that it actually is pure and is the substance you're getting. And so I've been on a whole journey to find the right vitamins. But anyways, I am on a regimen. I've been doing it for about 2 or 3 days, and I already feel a little bit better. I don't know if that's in my head, but I feel a little bit brighter and have more energy. So all good things. So quick reading update. And one other thing I wanted to show you. I lit the tapered candles, which just bring me so much joy. Like I cannot explain to you like how much joy the fancy candles bring me. Of course, I have to be in the room because the cats could cause full-on chaos with those. And if you like them, just caution, but I'm sure you know that. Okay, Hamnet. So I'm about a third of the way through, and oh, this just feels like falling into a world that I didn't remember how much I loved. And the writing is just so gripping. This is like one of those books where you read 25 pages and it feels like you read 2 pages. Like you just fall into the story. So, as I think I talked about in the previous clip, this is about young boy named Hamnet, and ultimately about his unfortunate illness with the plague. But of course, Hamnet was Shakespeare's son, and so you get a lot of Shakespeare's story. However, he's never named as Shakespeare. He's just named as the Latin tutor, which I think is a really interesting choice, and I kind of like it because saying Shakespeare, I think, would make this book about him, and it's not really. Like, there are bits of the book about him, but really it's about this young boy and this family. But yeah, I already know, well, okay, I don't want to jump the gun, but I'm pretty sure I will give this 5 stars again. The writing is just absolutely stunning. And I reminded myself, actually, that Maggie O'Farrell is coming out with a new book this year called Land, or The Land. And so I think the reread of this is really well timed because it, diving back into her writing and everything made me even more excited for the new release. So yeah, very, very pumped about this. I will have to look about Hamnet if it's still in theaters or if it's now on streaming to figure out what the best way to watch it is. I want to say it is still in theaters. It did just win the Golden Globe for Best Picture. Usually those stay in theater for quite a long time, especially if they're getting lots of awards and they're big movies like Hamnet is. So I don't know if I'm going to get to watch it in this vlog, but reading this and knowing that it's a film, it is very cinematic and descriptive, and I could see it really, really lending itself well to a movie, which it sounds like it has because the movie has been very highly regarded. Okay, I think those are the updates. This enjoying tea from one of my winter mugs, this lovely little snowman. So I'm going to finish my cup of tea, head to bed, and get through the final day of the work week. National flippin' champs. We won. It's so surreal. I can't believe it. I watched the championship with a lot of my IU friends that live around here, and I swear we were all very anxious the whole game because it wasn't like a game like a lot of the other games where we've had a big lead and we can just kind of chill and enjoy it for the second half. It was close the whole time. And so we were all very nervous, but some way, somehow, we came out with a win. So wild. I don't think it's sunk in yet, but just a very special day to be a Hoosier for sure. It is currently Tuesday. And I finished Hamnet. I really love this. I gave it 5 stars last time I read it, and I'm giving it 5 stars again. Maggie O'Farrell, her writing is the opposite of character dumpy, info dumpy. Every sentence, everything that happens in here has a reason. And every character in here is a 3-dimensional character. And I don't know how she does it because there are a lot of people that you meet throughout here. But there's no side characters really. You kind of get a sense of everyone's motivations. And again, the things that she sets up, the conflicts that she sets up, the scenarios that the characters find themselves in are all so complex. There's no clear right or wrong. There's no clear yes or no. It's all very complex and murky and gray, but it has a way of absolutely destroying you. I noticed a lot of things in here that I didn't notice last time I read it, which was fun. There are scenes in this book that really, really stuck out to me, and I remember them very, very clearly when I was reading them a second time. And then there were scenes in the book where I was like, I don't even remember that this was in here, and it was just really lovely to discover them almost for the first time. I was going to share a bunch of quotes from here, and then I was like, you know what? I would just be sharing the whole book um, because the writing is so great. And so if this concept interests you, I would definitely just pick it up. The writing is really, really excellent. And I think my quote of the week will probably come from here in some facet. But yes, 5 stars again. And excitingly, Beth, who is another booktuber who lives around here, reached out to me because I posted something on my Instagram that I had finished the book, and she asked me, like, have you seen the movie yet? Do you want to see the movie? And I was like, no, I haven't seen the movie, but I actually really want to see it this week. So we're going to go see it together tomorrow, which is really, really exciting because the only booktube person that I've met in real life was Mary, which I talked about actually in my last vlog. And so this will be the second person that I met from BookTube. It's a very small world, but I'm just really pumped to get to meet her and get to see the film together. So I will, of course, give you my thoughts of the movie when I see it. I know it's getting great reviews, but especially having just read the book, like, I think it's gonna be hard to live up to the book, to be honest. I am gonna start this tonight. I think read a little bit in bed before I head to sleep. I literally have read 5 pages, so I don't really have any thoughts so far. But yes, gonna read a little bit of this and then get some good sleep. It is Wednesday, I think. Yes. Apologize if you can hear background noise. Clarence is playing with his new cat radish toy that he's super into, and so he's just rolling around the floor. So very big update clip, and then I'm also going to do the wrap-up clip here. So first off, I went to go see Hamnet with Beth. It was so lovely, and it was so great to meet her. I've had this experience, like, whenever I meet people from BookTube where it's just like, we just like get each other. And so it was really, really nice to get to watch the film with her and kind of go through what we thought. She had also reread Hamnet recently. And so we both kind of like had that fresh in our mind. I overall think it was awesome. Like, it was a really good movie. It's one of the better book to movie adaptations. Was it perfect? No, there were like a few little nitpicky things that I have to say about it. But let me start with the positives. I thought Jessie Buckley, who played not Agnes, and yes, apparently I've been pronouncing that wrong, did just a stunning, stunning job. Like, I think really depicted her in the way that I imagined her while reading the book. And just like the emotion, the attention to detail, like, just felt like the character. I thought Paul Mescal was also great. I think that's a tough part to play. Well, I don't want to get too far into it, but I think he did a really good job. My issues were a couple. One, Shakespeare's name was mentioned in the movie, and I love the choice to not mention it in the book. And it's just, it seems like it's at a point of the movie when, like, it didn't even need to be mentioned. I'm like, why there, you know? Like, we could have stuck with how it was represented in the book, which is don't mention who he is, but like everybody knows who he is, and we didn't, and I don't know why. The other thing that was annoying was there was this very kind of cheesy, like, to be or not to be montagey scene that I don't really feel like fit with the film, and I won't explain like too much about it, but I just didn't like that, and I don't believe that was in the book. Correct me if I'm wrong and you've read this, but I don't think that was in the book. But these are all nitpicky things. Overall, I thought it was absolutely stunning. I really, really enjoyed it. It was very faithful to the book. Different format. The book does like some flashbacks and flash forwards. Like, the first chapter of the book is Hamnet when he's a young boy looking for help because Judith is sick. Whereas, and then you flash back to how Agnes and Shakespeare or the Latin tutor meet, and you kind of keep flashing forward and back. They made the decision to start where everything began with them meeting and then like having the kids and blah, 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 blah. And I liked that. It was just a different format and a choice that they made. But I think overall it probably made the most sense with a film. So anyways, really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend it if you're a big Hamnet fan. I don't think that you will be disappointed. Do I like the book or the movie better? I like the book better, but both were excellent. Okay. So let me wrap up this because I don't think I've given you like a middle of the book wrap up for this because I definitely haven't because I read this whole thing in one day. I gave this 4 stars when I first read it and I'm giving it 4 stars again. So the theme of this vlog has very much been I'm staying faithful to my ratings. First off, it is about a lot of really messed up situations and it has a lot of themes that I really, really like in mystery thrillers, like people going back to their hometowns to like look into old things and like quaint English villages and tropes that I also like that I'm not going to spoil. Was there enough pages to fully develop all of those things? No. Were there a couple ridiculous plot conveniences, I would say, that I didn't really remember, but then was like annoyed when they happened? Yes. I did not remember the twist correctly. At the beginning of this book, I thought I remembered the twist and I was like eyeing one person the whole time, but I was actually wrong. So that made rereading this fun. It's a good thriller. I think it will lend itself very well to a TV show because I think each of the episodes is going to give time to like explore more of the background of these people, but it felt like maybe it was trying to do a bit much for just like in the 200s or I think like low 300s page count. But enjoyed it. Not my favorite Alice Feeney though. I don't know what my favorite Alice Feeney is. That's a question for another day, but this is in the upper half of her books for me. So 4 stars for this one. All right, we are now in the wrap-up segment. So this week I read, Clarence is just bopping around. I read 670 pages, which is 95 pages per day. Again, happy with that number. I aim for about 100, so just a little bit under, but very fine with that given that it was a busy work week. Of course, my theme this week was rereading, particularly book to movie or book to film adaptations. And I read Hamnet, which I gave 5 stars, and I gave it 5 stars when I read it previously and also watched the film. I don't know how to rate films, so I'm not going to rate the film. That's something that I have to like think about. But if I had to describe how I feel about it, I would say excellent, not perfect. And then I also read His and Hers by Alice Feeney, which I gave 4 stars and was a solid thriller, but not perfect either. The quote for this week comes from Hamnet. We are not surprised. And it's actually, I think this is from the very first chapter. It's page 8. So it says, every life has its kernel, its hub, its epicenter, from which everything flows out, to which everything returns. This moment is the absent mother's, the boy, the empty house, the deserted yard, the unheard cry, him standing here at the back of the house, calling for the people who had fed him, swaddled him, rocked him to sleep, held his hand as he took his first steps, taught him to use a spoon to blow on broth before he ate it, to take care crossing the street, to let sleeping dogs lie, to swill out of a cup before drinking, to stay away from deep water. It will lie at her very core for the rest of her life. And if you've read this, you kind of know a little bit more of the significance of that, but just the writing in this is stunning. So it had to be a Hamnet quote for the quote this week. And of course, my shout out this week is going to be Beth because I got to meet her and that was so lovely. Her channel name is called CoverGirl Books. She has apologize for the train that you can hear. She has a Instagram and a YouTube channel. In terms of what she reads, it's honestly a little bit of everything, kind of similar to my tastes, in that she'll read some like literary fiction and she'll read some romances, she'll read some contemporary fiction. So really, I think any readers would really enjoy her content. Her editing is really beautiful too. She does a lot of like hand-drawn editing and little animations and things, and I love that stuff, and so her videos are always just a breath of fresh air and very calming and like visually pleasing to watch. So as always, I will have the links for her stuff down below so you can check out her channel. And again, it was so lovely to meet her, and it was really the highlight of my week. Um, with that, if you made it to the end of this video, leave me a bird emoji. I don't know if there's like a falcon or a bird of prey, because that is an important thing in Hamnet. So I would say a large bird emoji if you made it to the end of this video. And with that, I will see you guys very soon with another video. Bye.